And we are back again with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I'm your host, the Hockey Princess. We got crusty old guy here. Just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble out about hockey on a weekly basis. If you have any questions, concerns, want further explanation of something that we've explained, last week or over the summer, send us a message on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You can email us at thehockeyprincess@gmail.com. Also, just as a reminder, because everyone was real bad about it during the Caps game, please wait for the whistle. Please do not get up while the puck's in play. Just because there is not a person up there with a stop sign in the 300 level, because the United Center really doesn't care about the 300 level, doesn't mean that you just get to roam while the puck's in play. Sincerely, the people in section 330. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's something we're going to attempt to get under control at some point in time.
So the two of us against the United Center. NHL wise, it's been quiet-ish. I mean, Kaner had his first game as a Dead Wing. He had his first goal, silenced all the haters, which made me happy because I really don't think there needs to be reasons to hate Patrick Kane. He's Patrick Kane, even me. But aside from that, the NHL's there hasn't been too much drama in the NHL scope.
We got a coach fired.
Oh, we did get it. Who got fired? How did you miss this?
Nice. Oh, Hockey Princess. Berube got fired. He lost to the Hawks, then he lost to the Dead Wings, then he got fired.
That's fair.
So, and
get fired if you lose to us.
He's a pretty good coach. He's unfortunately they signed two players for about $8 million a year for 8 years, and they both haven't produced. So usually in those situations, the coach is going to go and the players are going to stay. So I'd like to give a shout out to Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, who managed to get a coach fired. Good work, kids. Hope you're proud of yourselves.
Wouldn't be proud of anything that they've done during this season, but that's also because
besides that, I don't believe there's anything else. The only other thing I heard was your guy in Pittsburgh is grasping at straws.
What guy?
I heard Purjärvi was signed by Pittsburgh, and he's coming off surgery and everything. They are he's trying to write this, and I don't think it's possible, but
never doubt Kyle Dubas.
I'm gonna be doubting him. I don't think there's enough there.
That's fine. I like Kyle Dubas, one, for the chaos and the theatricality of the way that he likes to go about things. Do I support it? No, but is it really fun to watch as a Western Conference fan? Heck yeah.
Yeah, and I think for him, he had no choice but to attempt to come in and go one last hurrah, because they had signed all of these players before he got there.
Right.
So you weren't in a position to unload. So, hey, such is life.
A well-used Nikita Zaitsev.
Hey,
you think
he got another goal last night? It's an our goal. Let's carry on.
And that was the point that I turned off the TV. All right, prospect-wise, it's a little bit quiet just because for college hockey, they last played, I think it was last week, and they don't really do anything until after World Juniors. Because just as a reminder, these are college kids. They've got finals, they've got Christmas vacation. They deserve to have time to, do their schoolwork and spend time with their family. So they really won't have anything until the first week of January. So we will not have anything to report. Other prospect news, Alex Franz scored his 5th goal of the season this past week. Adam Gajan, who plays for the Green Bay Gamblers down in the USHL, is now 14-4-2 this season, which I know what you're saying. It's the USHL. Like, wait and see how he does when he gets older. You know, that's still impressive. This kid
It certainly
is still
is.
impressive.
It's very impressive. And the other thing with playing in the U is you're going to see a lot of shots. There's not a lot of kids that know how to defend, so a goalie gets a ton of action. So no, that's a phenomenal sign for him, and hopefully he carries that through for the juniors too.
Also, just as a reminder, if you are interested in seeing this prospect, because he's up in Wisconsin, and so if you are not in Wisconsin, he will be playing the Chicago Steel the first or the second weekend in February. Green Bay Gamblers play the Chicago Steel. I will be there. And it should be entertaining. Some bogus prospect news that I'm a little bitter about. I don't know about you, crusty old guy. So we talked a little bit about the World Juniors last week, but Nick Lardis was not invited to the World Juniors for the preliminary roster, which is bogus. He also got a hat trick over the weekend and got the game-winning goal this past weekend and is tied for goals in the I believe it's OHL that he's in for 23 goals this season so far. Bogus that he at least didn't make.
Still doesn't get you an invite. Yeah, that's pretty rough sauce.
And what's even more rougher sauce is that Paul Ledwinski will not be on the World Juniors roster for Team Canada. What the hell, Canada? You think you got somebody better than Paul Ledwinski? Because guess what? You don't. He's the man.
Yeah, I don't know enough about everybody going to know the ins and outs. I really thought Paul had a decent shot though, considering the season he's having so far. But
like, what are we doing? I get it. The entire thing, all eyes are going to be on Celebrini and Yzerman, just like how World Juniors are most of the time, with looking at the top 1 or 2 draft picks for this upcoming year. But like, who else do you have? Ledwinski's killing it. So Hockey Princess, I will be cheering for Team Finland, where I don't know any of the guys and can't pronounce any of the guys, but I'm just gonna be bitter and cheer against Canada. So go Finland.
okay.
And that is really all that I have in prospects, just because, you know, our usual suspects are, you know, well, I guess Ledwinski will go back to Kingston now, but, you know, most of our usual suspects that we talk about are either, you know, still continuing to do well for their team, like Lardis is doing and Ferrand and everybody, or it's NCAA and they're on break, or they are at the World Juniors camp right now. So there's not going to be a ton to report on like prospect wise until it gets closer to World Juniors. Do you have anything on prospect?
Yeah, that'll be about it. And then again, we'll have some players playing, so we'll be able to report on some people, and hopefully we'll be able to give a decent report on some of the guys that are going to be coming up in the draft, I guess. So that'll be the homework for us. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm about it. I'm really bummed though, because like the one prospect that I want coming up in the draft, I don't think he's playing for World Junior. Like they don't have a team. I don't think.
Who's that?
Lishuno.
Oh, the guy from Belarus?
Yeah.
Belarus? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Belarus.
Belarus?
Yes.
Well, he's got to be studying anyways.
What do you mean?
He's in school.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, yeah, all right. That's it for the prospects, right?
That's it for the prospects. Rockford. Rockford's bad, guys. They're having a real tough time right now. Rockford is about as thin as Chicago is, but just a little bit worse right now. It's not good. A lot of the scores are 7-1, 5-1. D-men are nowhere to be found whatsoever. I know I say this every week, but I'm gonna keep saying it. Just because even though I say it, we still see people freaking out. This is okay. This is fine. This is also, we should not be freaking out thinking that, certain prospects down in Rockford, were a wash. They're not going to get to their full potential. It was a wasted pick. No. Everybody that, Kyle and his team are looking at, and more importantly, the people that Crusty Old Guy and I are looking at, this is their first year in Rockford. The purpose of Rockford is to grow, is to make mistakes. You're far better off making mistakes in Rockford or in juniors than making mistakes in the NHL. So it's okay. We also, should not be, freaking out about, the rookies up in Chicago thinking that they're a wash, they're a wasted pick, they're a bust, and that we should be rushing these other prospects to fill their space. We want them to develop organically. And that means, actually developing down in Rockford. That is supposed to be the purpose of a farm system, and the purpose of your AHL team is to give them time. It's going to look bad for a very long time. Did I miss anything on the don't freak out spiel?
Well, that's what everybody needs to understand. The main person you're talking about, of course, is Drew Commesso, and
It's my guy.
Comesso's going to have his ups and downs. He, at the minimum, spends 2 years in Rockford before we even think about bringing him up for any kind of stint here. So that also brings you up to Soderblom, and hey, beginning of the year, I was all screaming for the Bloom. He has gotten progressively worse. That's a fact. His rebound control is very sketchy. I think his confidence is just off, but sending him down to Rockford does no good. He's already spent time down in Rockford. His spot is up here.
Yeah.
So he is going to deal with it up here. We need goaltenders up here for 2 to 3 years before you get Drew Commesso. So he's going to have to be one of them.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So it's going to be very tough on him because, we're losing defensemen. If Seth Jones is out any kind of decent amount of time, this could be very, very rough. But yeah, just remember, it's about growth. So there's no sense screaming for other people to go up, other people to go down. There doesn't need to be any of like that.
Well, and
I've already got. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I vaguely remember this period of time just because I was very small. And I don't think it took as long for Crow to develop as we're thinking that Commesso would develop, but even Crow went through a period of like adjusting and developing. He wasn't immediately, juniors to NHL.
Oh gosh, no. No, he played 3 or 4 years in it wasn't Rockford, but whatever the other one is.
Indy?
No, not Indy, but they were someplace before Rockford.
Okay.
Well,
just because I think most people just knew, remember Crow as he was the main guy. Even the main guy still needs years to get to that point.
Yeah, Crow, before he broke in, was either 25 or 26. I believe he was 26. So it all takes a while. It's going in the AHL and then the NHL, you've really got to learn to start reading. You've got so many people in front of that net that you've never seen on the in juniors or in college. It's a different game. It takes a lot to get adjusted to. Plus, you have to refine your mechanics. So as far as Drew, again, like we're talking about, 3 years, then we can start actually talking about what we think is next for him.
Right.
And as far as Bloom, he had his mechanics down. He's going to have to work with him here. That's what Jimmy Waite's also here for.
Right.
So
I think I agree. His confidence is shot to a point based on, the past bit of games. But I also would say, it's hard to, because I don't count last year. I count this as like his first year up in the NHL. It even jumped
it
from
is.
the AHL to the NHL. That's a jump in itself. And you really don't have anybody aside from Seth Jones in front of you. So it's hard to refine your mechanics, get it up to the NHL playing level when you don't even have average defensemen standing in front of you.
Well, you've got the Pickle.
Right.
So the Pickles played well. They haven't been bloody awful defensively. But the other problem is now he spent a little time up last year.
Right.
And now he's been here this point in time. There's a little bit of a book going around about him. So that I've always heard, that first and second year in the NHL is very tough on goaltenders, just because teams will adjust to what you do. And they'll have a little bit of a scouting report, and then you need to adjust back. So I think there's a little bit of that with Bloom. And there's just a little bit of mechanic-wise that has slipped away. Again, you're going to spend time with your goaltending coach and round that back in. So
I think he can do it. I have faith in him.
Yeah, we'll see. He's gonna have time because there's really nothing else around. And they're not going to go out and get 2 old goaltenders. They'll have
No, that's
one.
what we already did with Mrazek.
Right. So. And Peter's played fine. So.
Which begs the question, I believe Mrazek's up at the end of this year.
Yes.
What do you think?
I would not have a problem signing him for 2 more years. I need a stopgap. Also with Mrazek, he's played really well. If he continues to play really well, there's the possibility you trade him at the deadline anyways.
And then
if you can get a second-round pick, you get it.
And then you bring up Stauber, right?
No, odds are good whoever you deal with, you will take their backup goaltender.
Okay.
So if it's Edmonton, you've got like a Pickard or whatever who's their backup right now. He would come back and then fill in for the rest of the time.
Do you think Carolina's got a second-round pick? They got a bunch of goaltenders.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of healthy goaltenders, but, I'm sure Hockey Princess was all over the fact that their goaltender was picking fights with Brady Tkachuk. Did you see that one?
Yes, I did. And it was great. For those who don't know, I am not Brady Tkachuk's biggest fan. I'm a Matthew Tkachuk fan. I don't like Brady ever since he tried to pick a fight with Alex Stalock. Just because I don't believe captains should be getting thrown out of games. I don't think that's not your job. You shouldn't let your emotions get that much of the best of you. Maybe it's because I was fortunate enough to have Captain Sirius all of my childhood, but I don't think that's what a captain is. So I don't like Brady. So I do love. Also, Peter Kuchikov is just full of personality. This is the same guy that, scored a goal, celebrated so much, antagonized the opposing team's bench and got thrown out in the span of 5 minutes. He's entertaining. So heck yeah. He could have picked a fight with almost anybody and I'd be like, yes.
Yes. And again, Carolina's trying to figure out their stuff. I'm sure Rod the Bod enjoys that out of his goaltender for a little bit. But he will learn, if he stays up all year, what the NHL is about. And when somebody runs him through that net, he should at least know why. But if you want to mouth off in this game, you have to be willing to take it. And somebody is going to run him big. That I guarantee.
And I think he's ready to fight back.
If he's still around, yes.
We'll take
Yeah.
it.
I think the guy's entertaining. I didn't need him in Milwaukee, doing push-ups in front of my Rockford Ice Hogs, but again, the sport could use a little something like that at times. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Carolina will be figuring out that won't be a guy coming back if it was Carolina. I can tell you that. So,
What do you mean?
if we were to give Mrazek to Colorado, to Carolina.
No,
Sorry
I
about
figured we'd be getting Anderson or Ronto would be coming back.
Yes.
I figured we wouldn't
Yes.
be getting Kucherov. I figured Kucherov would have to like really do something, like Corey Perry-esque to get sent to Chicago.
Yes. So, yeah, but that there is that possibility with Mrazek. More to be revealed. If he keeps on playing the way he is, I would assume somebody will want to take a try on him. So,
Interesting.
we got anything else about Rockford?
Really thin on defense. You can definitely feel the absence of Joey Anderson and Cole Gutman now that they're in Chicago. You can feel that sort of veteran presence that was in Rockford, and you can feel that missing. I haven't been able to watch a ton, but from my Rockford sources that have watched way more minutes than I have of just the highlights, that Rolston has definitely stepped up a bit more in terms of, obviously he's getting more ice time now that Gutman and Anderson are gone, but he's just been trying to take a bigger role on the ice, which we love because I'm also a Rolston fan. So we love progress. That was pretty much it in terms of Rockford. You want to go Chicago?
Okay. Huh?
Do we want to go Chicago?
Let's go to Chicago.
All right. So I think St. Louis is our first one.
Yeah, you want me to handle games or?
Yeah, can you if you want to do St. Louis, I'll do Washington.
Okay. Yeah, St. Louis was all around a good game. Again, as we mentioned early in the podcast, it got a coach fired, or at least was one of the two games that got a coach fired.
And we love
which
when
is
bad
always
things happen to
beautiful.
St. Louis.
Huh?
We love when bad things happen to St. Louis.
Yes, we do. So the Pickle with a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Pickle had his first goal, maybe also.
Yes, he did.
No, he had a goal and then it got taken away, right?
No, the other one got taken away. I thought
the first one got taken away. The second one counted.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then, of course, we had some Dick, which we some people like. So he also scored. They played really well. They played
You got Crevier's first point.
Huh?
You got Crevier's first point.
Yeah, Creature got his first point. So, which is very nice. They played tough. It was a darn good game. It's always good. It's always fun to beat the blows. We hate the blows, What else happened there? Let me go over this really quickly. I'm not completely prepared, Hockey Princess. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
So much going on in my mind. So, but again, we had Mrazek in net. Mrazek stood on his head again. So,
as he does.
Again, Zaitsev with an assist. Mac played really well.
Yep.
Zaitsev had 2 assists.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, the team didn't look bad. It was also, their first time this year winning back-to-back games.
Yes, because I forgot we haven't talked about that game yet. So
huh?
we skipped over Anaheim. So finish St. Louis and I'll go back to Anaheim.
Oh, was that after our last podcast?
Yeah.
Holy cow. Okay, so that's all about I got on the Blues. It was a nicely structured game. There's a lot of good battling going on out there. They didn't give up too many silly chances, which is the number one thing this team has to do. Again, the top line didn't look phenomenal, but what are you gonna do? The bottom two lines are still playing well, and that Dickinson line looks great with Foligno and little Joey. So, you want to go back to the Anaheim game?
Anaheim. That was slow. That was really slow.
It was.
I was like reading my notes and it just says lunch, and I realized that was just a scribble version of Linnell, I was very excited to see play for Anaheim, because Tristan Linnell played for the Gatineau Olympiques and played with Savoie last year. So I've now decided to just keep an eye out for that team, and I just want all of them to do well, because they were really fun to watch last year. Anaheim game was slow. I mean, we won, but it was two bad teams playing at 50% with each other, is the best way that I can describe the Anaheim game. We weren't awful, we weren't great, and Anaheim wasn't awful, but they weren't great either. It was just slow teams taking a break. I thought Mrazek got a shutout, played out of his mind. 3 stars for that game. I've got Mrazek, Crevier, because it was my first time seeing him. I had seen him in camp, and I'm gonna be real, I didn't think I would see the day that he would make it up to the NHL. I thought he was a Regula situation where it was gonna be very kind of just in between, back and forth constantly, and like maybe he makes it on a different team, like sort of how Regula and Ian Mitchell were the past couple of years. So it was great to see him. And third, Alex Vlasic, because I love Alex Vlasic, and Alex Vlasic is doing great. But yeah, I didn't love it, but we didn't lose awfully, so I'll take it.
Mrazek got the shutout. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest game to be at, but DJ Oria was there, and he rocked it between the second and third period. Didn't he, hun? She wasn't there. Who was there? You were there?
No, Brian was there.
You were there.
I was there.
Thursday for the Anaheim game. Oh, DJ Oria wasn't there. Sorry. My bad.
Wow.
That was Saturday.
I was going to say. Wow.
Getting a little confused here.
You're off your game. But that's really
I'm off my game. Yes.
Do you have anything else about Anaheim?
I don't think I have anything else about Anaheim.
There's also like a game we should win, especially with McTavish and Zegras being out for Anaheim. I mean, we should win it anyway because it's Anaheim. But with your two of your biggest pieces out, it should be a not can we win, we should win sort of situation.
And, I believe Carlson played as advertised. He had some good rushes and everything.
Yeah.
He's going to be a fine NHL player.
Yeah.
He's also on Anaheim. And let's see if I'll attempt to butcher this name too. But the Ducks defenseman Mintakuv.
Okay.
He looked really good. He's also he'll probably finish like 4th or 5th in the Calder voting this year. He's played pretty well for him. He looked very smooth out there. Yeah, good player.
Love
I have
that.
no idea how to say his name though.
That's okay.
Thanks.
And we're gonna talk about the depressing game now.
Okay, go ahead.
The more and more I watch this team, the more and more I hate watching them. So finally, Hawks played the Caps. We got our butt handed to us for the second year in a row. I can't remember the last time I've seen the Caps or lose to us. Probably 2015, maybe. Another return of Dylan Strome, which made me very happy because he was definitely one of the Kyle Davidson, I'm dumping everybody. We're beginning the tank. He was one of the people that left.
And what did we get for him?
Nothing.
Yeah, okay. Go on.
Right. We got nothing. We got nothing for him. We got nothing for Kubalik. We'll let these two guys walk and then, go to arbitration for Philip Kurashev. Davidson doesn't make sense 90% of the time, but that's, nor here nor there. That's the obvious statement of every episode. What I got annoyed the most with is like the Caps, like, sure, if we're gonna lose, we're gonna lose. But they didn't even have the decency to give Ovi the points. Like, it was everybody else scoring. I've got more respect if it's the great eight, getting hat tricks on our ice, but it was everybody else.
Yeah, and the grade eight has had a tough go this year, so he definitely looks a little slowed down.
I think he's also got, some other, from the Caps fans that I've talked to, performance-wise, he has not been the same since his dad passed recently. I think, not having Backstrom with him is definitely, an adjustment. Because for those who don't know, Ovi and Backstrom have played on the same team since basically the dawn of time for the Washington Capitals, my whole life, pretty much. So it's definitely got to be hard. I know, I don't think it was a complete, adjustment that Kaner had to do, but I know he definitely, like, there was a difference when 19 wasn't there, like when he was gone for the year or when he was out this past year. It was different. You get used to having this person at least like on the team with you all the time. You get very close and they're not there. It's an adjustment. And he's not he's not the oldest person on the team. There's still Oshie, there's still Carlson, there's still Wilson, who have been with the team for a significant period of time. But it's definitely dwindling in terms of like the old generation for the Caps. I think that's the case for quite a few of the Eastern Conference teams. I think they've had the same roster for the past 2 decades, and now it's almost gone.
Yeah. And, the Hawks got beat up by Nick Dowd. That's right. Nick Dowd, everybody knows of him. That's becoming a theme also with these teams. People we've never even heard of scoring 2-3 goals on this team. Again, it was a rough game for the bottom 6. What are you gonna do?
That's what I'm giving my 3 stars to.
Huh?
That's what I'm giving my 3 stars to. Also, I would like to express my anger to Oshie for going after Vlasic. I don't want to say that it was completely purposeful, but you've got to throw a little bit of effort and a little bit of intention trying to hit a 6'6" guy. It's a lot easier to hit a Bedard, a Kaner, or DeBrincat versus hitting Vlasic. And yes, he did need stitches, so Oshie kind of sucked. And Seth Jones is out for we don't know how long, because I still don't know who hit him or what happened.
There's a video out there. Basically, he was on their 4th goal. He was coming up the wall. He wanted to advance the puck a little bit, so took like his left arm and hit the puck. And if you'll ever notice, you'll see players do like a rolling check into the boards. So this guy just basically hit him at the back of the arm towards the shoulder, and then went his body around his back. So worst case scenario, it's like a rotocuff or something, which would be awful. I think it's more than a separated shoulder. Separated shoulder, they'll usually put back in place, tiny bit of time. I think we might have some muscle damage as far as Seth is concerned. I thought it was a big deal. And then in Luke's interview after the game, he made it seem like it was nothing at all. And then we find out that Seth didn't come with him on the trip. So we'll see. It looked pretty nasty. He barely went anywhere on the ice. He really didn't need to. There was 4 other Blackhawks around Nick Dowd who did nothing. So yeah, that might be a little while. We'll see.
I'm always curious as to like, do the players have any control in like what's disclosed, or does that go more of like players association of like, you know, the answers that Luke or people give in terms of what the injury is to like the press?
That's team by team. Basically it's just hockey wide. They'll never say anything.
No, I know that they won't like like it's usually like upper body injury or lower body injury.
Right. And you're really never going to get anything more than that.
Okay.
They never want to say anything. So their common thing is always, and with anything else, when you're dealing with the press, once you say, well, it's kind of, the press just wants to know more and more. So it's a good way to stop the questions.
Right.
You give them an eye roll and go upper body, and everybody knows the layoff. So
Well, I feel like sometimes they do get specific, and it will just like in the sense of like, you know, this person's on concussion protocol, or do they have to disclose if they are on concussion protocol specifically?
I believe they have to disclose that. And again, if you're going on IR, they've got to state kind of what it's for.
So they do have to, okay,
And usually they'll disclose once somebody's going in for surgery.
Okay.
Because odds are good that'll get out that it's a wrist surgery, a knee surgery.
Right. I'm like, Savoie was specified, Blackwell was specified, Philp was specified, but they're all long term. Okay.
Exactly. They're long term. And again, they're going to go in for a procedure. So people are going to find out anyways.
Right. Okay.
As much as you think HIPAA would keep everybody quiet.
No,
whatever HIPAA actually is.
3 stars for the game. A little skewed, but we're all about the effort here. 3rd star goes to Mac. Didn't think he played perfect, but he was definitely one of the few that were trying to pull them into the fight in terms of energy. You know, the top 6 didn't look bad, but they just looked afraid to be physical and put their body into the play. Whereas, you know, Mac wasn't perfect, but at least he was trying to get something started. So 3rd star. 2nd star goes to Seth Jones, because he's Seth Jones. He was definitely one of the only notable defensemen, and probably one of the only few defensemen that didn't make me like cringe and get nervous once we started entering once Washington entered our defensive area. Because there's definitely sometimes where I'm like, I'm seeing 2 numbers out there and I don't like it. This is scary. He's one of the few that I don't have to go, this is scary, because he's Seth Jones. He'll take care of it. And then first one is going to go to Nick Foligno. Similar to Mac, where, you know, he was definitely sure he was taking penalties for it, but he was trying to bring them into the fight. He was trying to make this not just a shutout, bloody blowout situation, it was an easy win for the Caps, but he was trying to at least get the team into it so it wasn't a super easy win. And he was definitely one of the few like top 6 guys where he wasn't just immediately handing the puck over to Washington. Because there was definitely some times, I know when it's 98 having the puck, he can't help it because nobody else is actually going to help him. And so there's like 4 guys swarming him and there's only so much that he can do. But I'm looking at some other players, 91 in particular, who, you know, just decides to just directly pass it to the opposing team. You know, Foligno was one of the few people not doing that. So even though it was a bad game, we're still going to give him a number 1 star for the Caps game.
And that'll leave us with 1 more game to go. And we had a little bit of news before that game. Number 1, that Seth Jones was not going on the trip.
Yep.
Number 2, that our boy from the milk carton, who all of a sudden we thought we found for a little bit, was placed on waivers. So Boris Tkachuk, I believe, has now cleared waivers. So he is on his way to Rockford. What he's actually doing wrong, I do not know.
No,
So
what Luke is thinking in that head, I'd like to know, because I've been wondering that since the middle of October. I
Yeah.
would also, but do we think that this is going to turn into a Jordan Tutu situation? Have you seen that chapter yet?
Yes, I've seen the chapter.
Do we
Well,
think it's going to turn into a Tutu situation?
no, it will not turn into a 2-2 situation. There are rumors.
That was the pettiest thing I have ever read, and I was here for it. It also
Well,
made me very angry because, we could have gotten Rutu back instead of Tutu, and so I don't like to think about Jordan Tutu being a Chicago Blackhawk because it could have been Rudy.
I hear you. Yeah, we can go over that different program or whatever.
Okay.
But no, as far as your boy Boris or my boy, there's talk that it might be for some other reason also, which
Fair enough.
he's on the 2016 Team Canada team.
Or that's 2018 because it was 5 years.
2018.
2018.
So, I don't know exactly why. I know he's had some turnover issues and placement, but he always seemed to he had the motor. He seemed to be bringing the team into the fight. So I don't quite get it, but he's in Rockford now. He did clear. So
if it is because of, without getting too much, if you want to look into the 2018 World Junior Canada situation, you're more than welcome to do your research. We're not going to talk a ton about it. I will say though, if new information was brought to light regarding that situation, and then if that is the reason that Boris Tkachuk was placed on waivers, fine with it. Good.
Yeah, it's just that's another rumor out there. And again, on this podcast, we're not going to go into that kind of stuff. Anybody can read about it. It's been a long ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Which at times just makes me sick to my stomach, so I don't want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
So we go on to Tuesday's game, right?
Yep.
Yeah. 9:00 start. Good game to be retired. This one is about as to be expected. The watching part was very hard. All I heard constantly was Connor this, Connor that, Connor verse. And then in between periods, I get somebody giving me fashion tips. It was very strange as far as the broadcast and everything in the ESPN NHL world.
I will say regarding the Connor situation, I don't know who it was, because I don't pay attention to who's commentating games. I did not appreciate though, where Connor this, Connor that, and then talking about that Connor hasn't scored an X amount of games, ooh, something's wrong. He's Connor Bedard. Calm down. I know you just need something to say because you're lazy, but it's the beacon of hope. You spent all summer praising this kid. We're not going to then turn around because he hasn't scored a game or goal in 5 games. Everybody calm down.
And again, his goal was super pretty. Fantastic pass by Vlasic. Again, they probably don't score any goals if it's not for an Edmonton bad change, which led to the Connor being open at the blue line.
Yeah, that was
again
silly.
A game that you thought we really could never be in. At least that's the feeling I got. Even when they had up 1-0, I'm like, well, at least they scored a goal.
Right.
They played very safe, very conservative, and they hung in for a little while. But the play was dictated heavy to one end. Mrazek again played pretty gosh darn well in a losing effort. I believe Edmonton didn't come close with their best game either. So,
which I think that's frustrated me the most with watching that is like, if we're getting blown out by a team playing like at 100%, it's like, yeah, what are you going to do? They're leaps and bounds. Like if we're playing Colorado, sure, like they are going to play a more skilled game than we are. That's just a fact because the Colorado roster is filled with very skilled hockey players, and we are not. But when they dumb it down and we're still playing really bad, makes me mad. My 3 stars are Mrazek for the 3rd star because, like Crusty Old Guy said, I still think you played great. Really, anytime you play against 97 and you aren't, awful, it's an impressive thing. 2nd star goes to Vlasic because I still think you played pretty good, and the pass up to Bedard was just beautiful. And number 1 to Bedard for playing the game, for the goal, and also for having to deal with the Connor versus Connor stuff because we think it's annoying televised. He probably had to answer so many stupid questions about Connor versus Connor. How that kid is not just absolutely over all of it amazes me.
I hear you. And yeah, it was, the Pickle played pretty well. As I said, the Pickle, if Seth is out for a while, the Pickle's play is going to decrease. He's going to be asked to do an awful lot. He's already now asked to run the number 1 power play.
And that's okay that it decreases for a little bit. Do not freak out, people.
Right. This is not the time to freak out. And again, if Seth is gone for any amount of time, this team just got a heck of a lot worse. He is your second best offensive talent. He's a generator of offense. And without him there, there's really nobody to fill that role that much. Vlasic will attempt. Go ahead.
If they foresee Seth Jones being like out for a while, do you see Kyle going shopping?
He should. At
the end of the year.
At the end of the year?
Or like for somebody to just sign for like the remaining bit of the season or however it works. Do you see him going shopping in some short-term aspect?
I don't believe so, just because he doesn't like to do anything that's going to get him criticized. So I don't know if there's anything out there. Ethan Bear just got signed by the Capitals. He was your other like defenseman that was out there.
He doesn't like doing anything that's getting him criticized aside from, sending away DeBrincat, sending away Doc, letting Kubalik walk.
Right, but he had the ability to say, it's all part of the rebuild, it's all part of the plan, don't think about it for 5 years.
Right, but he still could get criticized for it. Believe me, I'm the number 1 person driving the car of not liking Kyle. I will find
in answer to your question, I think he should. I don't know. I guess we'll know more by about Thursday's game. We hopefully will get some clarity on it, but this organization really hasn't been any different than the last. There's no transparency. I don't think we'll hear much. So maybe by Sunday. Yeah, I think it's too much of an ask to bring all 4 kids up. It's just too deep. I would go shop for another piece, give up a little something, so this thing doesn't go completely south all year.
I mean, we could end up with Celebrini, like everybody wants, even though it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's just you need to start going back up the other way. You need to start to build on things. And if you're telling me this is another wasted year, so we haven't started building whatsoever then. I just think you could cause some harm to 4 young defensemen in putting too much pressure on them. So let's see where it all goes.
Fair enough.
So I think that's about it.
Yeah.
For the game. It was blah.
It wasn't
as bad as I thought. and the game was probably worse than the score was. So
Yeah, that was a little hard to watch, mainly because I don't like watching Edmonton play, but but yeah, it should be interesting. I hope that they go shopping. I doubt that they will, but also, I really don't foresee anybody really being on the market right now. Like you said, Bear was kind of one of the last ones that was around. Um, but yeah, it should be pretty bloody awful. And we play Vancouver next. Oh gosh, this is gonna be gross.
play Seattle on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Then I know we have Vancouver at home. I think they're off until Sunday then after Thursday. Yes.
Get some rest. Think about how you're playing.
Yes. And it'll be a big game for Connor Thursday also.
Yep.
Not too far from where he's from. So
Thinking I was one lottery ball away from playing in Vancouver.
yeah, that would have worked out really well for him as well as Vancouver's playing. Holy cow. Can you imagine that?
I don't want to imagine that.
Creepers, that would have been one heck of a team.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine that. No, thank you. I'm still riding the train that I want Celebrini to go to. Like Vancouver needs to massively tank, get Celebrini so they can have the hometown brothers. But we're gonna end up with them.
Take Celebrini. I can take him along.
I want the defenseman. We need defensemen.
No, if we get the number one pick, we're not taking him.
No, I know. We're taking Celebrini or Eisman. I don't want the number one pick. I want like number 7, and we go with Lashuno because he's a right-handed defenseman and he's 6'2".
I don't know if he'll be there at 7, so you might be thinking about 4.
He's projected at 10.
He's gonna move. He's a right-handed defenseman. He's gonna move up the board.
Well, we're wandering, but it's the end of the episode anyway.
Yes.
No, because Kiwi Haru is projected to go 3rd. So it's Celebrini or Yzerman, and they're 1 or 2 either which way. Kiwi Haru is also a right-handed defenseman that is projected to go 3rd. So there's 2 right-handed defensemen in your top 10. Are on Kiwi Haru.
Kiwi Haru. I don't even see him on one of my things. We'll have to get back onto that. The only other defenseman I got is the Dickinson guy.
You got 2 right,
and he's a lefty.
You got him, but I want Lishu now. But we'll talk about the draft.
We'll talk about that in an episode when we're trying to forget about our team a little bit.
Yeah. So like next week. Kidding.
Yes. And then I got nothing for the Crusty Corner. She's still there.
She'll be there for a while.
And just want to thank her in advance for I've always gotten Christmas cards from the Blackhawks, and thank you for taking that away also.
You didn't get yours?
No, I don't get one from them. Yes, I'm a little bitter, hun, but I have the utmost confidence that my ticket rep will either be hand delivering it Sunday or she'll be sending it. But as far as the organization, Jamie doesn't believe in Christmas cards, I guess.
He doesn't believe in Christmas. Actually, Jamie's the Grinch.
Jamie's the Grinch. Could be.
Taking away your season ticket holder knick-knack thing, giveaway thing. She's taking away the Rocky patches. She's taking away Christmas cards. Jamie is the Grinch.
Hold on. I can go off more. Do you want me to go off more?
Sure.
February 9th. They're giving away hats. The back of the hat says Union Strong. Me being a Union man, I can't get that hat because I'm a season ticket holder. I'd have to buy a ticket again to get it. Thank you, Jamie. I'm done. Yeah.
Oh, that
I
is
know
that is outrageous.
it is outrageous.
Wait,
But I will tell your listeners now, I will not go off on this subject again for a while. Not until next year. I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse. Hold on. Honey, am I beating a dead horse? She says I'm doing it all the time. That's probably another talk for a different show.
All right. Just as a reminder, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want us to explain anything that we explained last week, a couple of weeks ago, or over the summer, send us a message on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or you can email us at thehockeyprincess@gmail.com. Make sure that you are not getting up while the puck's in play. Wait for the whistle. The beer can wait 30 extra seconds. Your bathroom break can wait 30 extra seconds. I promise you the toilet will still be there. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble about hockey on a weekly basis. And we will talk at you guys next Thursday.